We're back in Milwaukee with Eboni Williams, Lachlan, Markay, and Jedediah Bila as we prepare for tomorrow night's fourth Republican presidential debate here on the Fox Business Network. It's going to be quite an evening. And as we've talked about all of these issues, I mean, I look at all that's transpiring in this country. There are so few issues that couldn't be brought under the umbrella of the economy. What do you think, Eboni?
I think this is going to be an opportunity for Donald Trump to live up to this. He's polling at, 59, 60% most trusted to handle the economy. I think we all know why. He's the rich guy on the stage. He's done best by his own means. But can that translate to America doing better and being great again? And I think this is going to be either one of two things for him, Lou. It's going to be a slam dunk. He's going to prove those poll numbers right and go even higher. Or maybe he's going to be exposed.
Well, he was exposed on Saturday Night Live, and all he did was, Lachlan, he raised the SNL's ratings to the highest level in 3 years.
I mean, as an entertainer, he's unrivaled. But I'm really going to be watching Ben Carson tomorrow because I think it's going to be a test, not necessarily.
No, Lachlan just dismissed the entertainer. Ignored billions of dollars in wealth that he created.
An asset in American politics these days.
Ronald Reagan was a great entertainer, I'll remind you. So it's a key asset.
There's precedence for it.
Especially now with media being the way that it is. Yes. I think your policy is important, but I think it's equally important how you articulate that policy. And I think making people laugh and having a sense of humor and being able to laugh at yourself and being likable are all super important.
That's why I think Carson is at such a crucial point here. That's because you've seen a little bit of a short temper with him lately, and I can't blame him for a lot of it. He's been treated, I think, pretty unfairly. But it'll be a test whether he can maintain this persona that he has as by far the most likable man in the race.
You know, I've got to say, I think the man has been remarkable because now he's been validated by the media. It turns out he was telling the truth, folks. You can argue around the edges, but it's only a marginal issue on that story at Yale. This guy is, and I feel a little guilty saying this guy. I mean, I'm talking about a medical doctor here. Yeah. This is a man of accomplishment, achievement. He has done so much good. And he's being sort of surveyed by the national liberal media as another hack politico coming down the line. I really respect the man for what he's done.
But you know what, Lou? I think you're echoing a sentiment that works in Dr. Carson's favor to the extent that absolutely. I mean, $3.5 million he raised last week in the height of kind of all this skepticism around his personal narrative and attack. I think it works for him. I think he benefits from it tremendously. But again, to the point, we're talking economic policy tomorrow night. Now, that's a place where Dr. Carson's a little vulnerable on that issue. Only, I think, 38%
Would it be a good time for him to kind of pull back his horns and say, I'm going to kind of listen and study a little bit.
And that line works for him. Now, I don't know that line works for anybody else, but it works for Big Carson. He gets to study.
Again, you guys are enthusiastic about Ted Cruz's chances tomorrow. By the way, that's a good choice. I mean, he's a pretty smart, capable fellow on any topic. You're talking about, of course, Donald Trump here. You know, a natural here would be Jeb Bush, but I don't hear you mentioning his name.
And that's just the problem, is that he has vanished. He's not coming across as terribly likable. He's not bringing his experience to the table in a way that people say this is a guy we can believe in. He's not charismatic. He's not resonating with voters. And he's been picking on other candidates in a way that makes him seem really small. When you look at that stage, he looks like the small man on the stage. He's not coming across as the guy who has a lot of charisma and wants to save the country and has the answers. He looks like he is afraid. He looks like he is intimidated, and he doesn't look like he can handle the job of president. And that's the key here, so that when we have conversations about candidates, we're not inspired to talk about him. Well, guess what? Then people aren't going to be inspired to vote for him.
We forget about him, Jedediah. You're right. Not only is he not likable, he's worse than almost unlikable. He's forgettable. I think that's the worst possible thing you could be as a candidate.
I do think this debate topic plays to his strengths because he had a very good economic record in Florida. So I think he's going to be able to point to that more than really any other candidate.
And yet nobody cares. And that's what's unfortunate. I think that's Jedediah's point, is that he has, I think, a really good governor record to run on. And there's been this is the fourth opportunity for him to go out there and taught those, accomplishments, the fact that he's the leader in chief who's done it, and yet it's not resonating.
Well, that first debate tomorrow, which does begin at 7 Eastern here on the Fox Business Network, I mean, featuring Mike Huckabee, Governor Christie, Bobby Jindal, Senator Santorum. I mean, that's a group of folks who are going to have an opportunity. I mean, those are 4 horses, if you will.
Yeah.
I think that you may see some breakout here. It's memorable.
I think Christie will stand out.
Not forgotten.
Yeah, there you go.
Christie always manages to stand out. I think he will stand out, and I think people will be left feeling that they wish he were on the other stage. Christie has been great. I mean, he's directed a lot of his commentary directly to the audience. He has spoken about his record. I think a lot of his interviews have been fantastic. I think he's slipping because the trait that people love about Christie exists in Trump as well, and Trump has really stolen the microphone from him this time around.
He's coming off a great couple weeks. He had this video go viral where he's talking about this heroin epidemic in New Hampshire.
That was a fantastic
just
video.
Really compelling,
can't
really
cut him
moving.
out yet. I agree with that. And here's the other thing. He's been handling what's happened to him in the polls really well. He's not whining. He's not crying. I think it really kind of makes us more beholden to him.
Yeah.
Well, be sure to tune in tomorrow night. We'll find out who whines, who... We're going to find out who does best on economic policy and the country's future.
And who's forgetful.
Eboni, Williams, Lachlan, Markay, Jedediah, Bila. Thank you all.
Thank you.